While most individuals don't want to experience it, losing a loved one is something that happens to most people. There are as many different ways for people to cope with loss of a loved one as there are people in the world. You may be surprised by the lovely manner a family member responds to the death of a loved one. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. After a fight with cancer that began on February 10th of the same year, Staff Sergeant Alfred David Brazil, often known as Fred to his friends and family, departed this life on July 31st, 2017. Sadly, Fred went away from the consequences of his stage 4 rectal cancer, which had spread to his liver. His age was just 37. In his obituary, Staff Sergeant Fred Brazil's life was concisely and brilliantly portrayed. On December 29, 1979, Alfred Brazil was born in Greenville, South Carolina. His upbringing was typical of that of a child from lower to middle-class America. He enjoyed his childhood and tried his hardest to overcome the challenges of adolescence. He joined the United States Army shortly after completing his education at Greenville High School. A successful and illustrious military career awaited him. In addition to doing 2 tours of service in Iraq, he also served his nation in Korea. He took a brief leave of absence from the military to attend and complete the Mercury-Hurst Police Training Academy, exploring several options for his future. Even though it was a commendable and remarkable feat to have accomplished, his passion for the military drew him back. He rejoined the military after completing his police training, serving briefly in the National Guard before returning to active service. He eventually served at Fort Carson Army Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and was on active service until his death. He was a dedicated family man in addition to being in the military. Many of his close family members, including his father, William Jack Brazil, 3 brothers Rick Hovey of Greenville, John Rimmer of North Carolina, and William J. Brazil III of Georgia, as well as 2 sisters, Teresa Brazil and Tammy Hovey, all of Greenville, survived him. Ruth Brazil, his mother, and Robert and Dorothy Brazil, his paternal grandparents, preceded him in death. What mattered most, though, was the family he had created on his own. Mason and Milan Brazil, his 2 kids, and their mother, Caitlin K. Brazil, were all at home when he passed away. He seemed to enjoy his roles as a husband and parent, and it was evident that they felt the same way about him. Several instances were used to document the family's connection on video, but none was more solemn than Fred Brazil's funeral. Alicia Elwell Potter, a photographer and proprietor of her own private company, the Potter's Hand Photography, was among his friends who attended the burial. He had met Potter in South Korea while on service there. She was requested to attend the burial as both a mourner and a photographer, though. Paying tribute to her friend's memory is one thing, but few would take on the burden of documenting the occasion for the grieving family at the same time. She did, however, take on the task, and the family's photos capture the beauty of their love for their father and husband at an untimely age. Potter sent her own sympathies and a fitting farewell to Sergeant Brazil's family on Facebook via her company page. She couldn't have expressed her entire point more perfectly. She posted on Monday, "I had the incredible privilege of traveling in to be with an incredible family that I hold in the highest regard. I documented every second of their sorrow and the funeral for a great man who truly lived life to the utmost. He was a devoted, caring spouse to a lady whose faith had persevered through their hardships and who possessed an inner strength that not many can claim. He was the vivacious and supportive father of 2 good-looking boys who will develop into smart men in the same vein as their father. He honorably served his nation as a soldier until his health prevented him from carrying out his duty. I will always cherish this lovely family and be eternally grateful that we crossed paths in South Korea a few years ago. His grin is something I will never forget. I really hope that I did you justice, Fred. Kate informed me that you wanted me to take one more family portrait, so I obliged. Peace be with you, dear buddy," Potter wrote in her piece on how Fred's wife's faith endured the whole process. This is not only lip service, rather it is a significant aspect of this family's lives and how they managed to overcome all obstacles. The Brazils were a devout Christian family with a unique perspective on tragedy and death. His wife, Kate Brazil, was reported to have stated that neither she nor her husband had instilled in their sons any fear or feeling that death is something to be overcome. I tell them we are here as tools for God. God was aware of Daddy's might and that without using Daddy as a tool, he would not be able to reach certain individuals. That's how we accepted it, and he provided justification for it. We hold that to be true. Fred Brazil fought for his life because he believed that there is a reason why one fights, and that reason was rooted in his love for his family. This was his view on life and death throughout his struggle. Fred's mission in life was to reach people, bring them to God, and just smile, Kate added. Because he lived each and every day to the utmost, he accomplished everything in life. He completed everything that was required of him while on Earth. We just couldn't be more proud of the way he battled. Maybe the reason their boys responded the way they did was because of these lessons and the manner they were taught to them. Fred and Kate were not the kind of parents that wished to shield their kids from life's hardships. They were by their father's side for every medical procedure, and their boys, Mason and Milan, were not spared from any of them. As much as they could, they accompanied their parents to all of their father's required medical visits because they knew he was in critical condition. They were permitted to be a part of his battle for whatever long he needed. It may be argued that as a result, there wasn't a tremendous sensation of shock when it was all over. Even though her boys were just 5 and 8 years old when their father passed away, Kate Brazil claimed that they had not shed a tear. As a family, they experienced it together, and as Kate put it, they were looking at it very differently than others who had suffered a severe blow. Still, it was terrible, at least for Kate. Kate and her 2 kids were scheduled to take a private journey from their home in Colorado Springs, Colorado, to Virginia just 4 months after the funeral. Kate, though, was aware that their journey wouldn't be straightforward because they would need to stop in Boston. Staff Sergeant Alfred D. Brazil, their father and husband, was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery, and the family paid a brief visit there on November 20th. According to Kate, she sobbed the whole 24-hour trip to Arlington, hoping to see her husband's headstone. They'd been cool before, but on that trip there, she claimed it seemed like he might still return home, so that's when the gravity of the situation fully hit. We spent so much time apart as a military family that I thought he would still return from this deployment. But since we now know what to anticipate, I felt better about leaving. Numerous Gold Star families I've met with note that while these trips don't get any easier, they do get different every time. However, anyone might pardon her for not anticipating the subsequent events. Her kids, Mason and Milan, approached the chance to reunite with their father as though it were a warm family gathering, since they were so at ease with it. The younger brother, Milan, informed his mother that he felt his father was with him as he approached the headstone and that he wanted to take a sleep with him. Mom set up the blankets and took a picture of Mason and Milan lying down next to their father's tombstone, just like they would have with him. Milan slept with his elder brother beside him in prayer. Kate made the choice to sit back and allow the special occasion unfold naturally. The boys believed that this was the only authentic way for them to connect with their father now that he was gone, even if they weren't deluded about his condition. It may have given them a feeling of closure and helped them feel closer to their father. As the day went on, Kate kept an eye on the boys as they lay around on the blanket and informed their father about their previous experiences, which included learning new swim skills, receiving martial arts belts, and even taking home prizes from a Halloween party. They were bragging to their father about their achievements just as they would have few months prior. It was great, tragic, and beautiful all at once. The nicest part, though, was right at the very end. Milan, who was 5 years old, claimed he needed to accomplish one more thing before he could go. Then he ran back to the headstone and said farewell with a final embrace. That's how he used to embrace his father. Because Sergeant Fred Brazil will always be a part of his boy's life, they will grow up with even more love and confidence from the man who reared them. These little boys had a bond with their father that was capable of softening even the hardest heart. How did you feel about their response to the gravesite of their father? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. Don't forget to subscribe to more heartwarming tales like this by clicking the bell icon and like the post. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.